my name is John, and today we'll be reading Macron, The Last Multilateralist by Pat Buchanan on Townhall, posted April 27, 2018. Patrick J. Buchanan has been a senior advisor to 3 American presidents. Together, President Macron instructed President Trump, we can resist the rise of aggressive nationalisms that deny our history and divide the world. Before Congress, he denounced extreme nationalism, invoked the UN, NATO, WTO, and Paris Climate Accord, and implored Trump's America to come home to the New World Order. Together, the United States is the one who invented this multilateralism, Macron went on. You are the one now who has to help preserve and reinvent it. His visit was hailed and his views cheered, but on reflection, the ideas of Emmanuel Macron seem to be less about tomorrow than yesterday, for the world he celebrates is receding into history. The America of 2018 is coming to see NATO as having evolved into endless U.S. commitment to go to war with Russia on behalf of a rich Europe that resolutely refuses to provide for its own defense. Since the World Trade Organization was created in the mid-1990s, the U.S. has run $12 trillion in trade deficits, and among the biggest beneficiaries, the European Union. Under the Paris Climate Accord, environmental restrictions are put upon the United States, but China is exempt. As for the UN, is that sinkhole of anti-Americanism, the General Assembly, really worth the scores of billions we have plunged into it? Aggressive nationalism is a term that might well fit Napoleon Bonaparte, whose Arc de Triomphe sits on the Champs-Élysées. But does it really fit the Hungarians, Poles, Brits, Scots, Catalans, and other indigenous people of Europe who are now using democratic methods and means to preserve a national home for the unique peoples to whom they belong? And the United States would seem an odd place to go about venting on aggressive nationalisms that deny our history. Did Macron not learn at the Lycée Henry IV in Paris or the École Nationale Administration how the Americans acquired all that land? General Washington, at whose Mount Vernon home Macron died, was a nationalist who fought for 6 years to sever America's ties to the nation under which he was born as an Englishman. How does Macron think Andrew Jackson acquired Florida from Spain? Sam Houston acquired Texas from Mexico, and Winfield Scott and Zachary Taylor acquired the Southwest. By bartering? Aggressive nationalism is a good synonym for the manifest destiny of a republic that went about relieving Spain of Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. How does Macron think the New World was conquered and colonized, if not by aggressive British, French, and Spanish nationalists determined to impose their rule upon weaker indigenous tribes? Was it not nationalism that broke up the USSR into 15 nations? Was not the Zionist movement that resurrected Israel in 1948 and in 1967 captured the West Bank and then annexed East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights a manifestation of aggressive nationalism? Macron is an echo of that George H.W. Bush who, in Kiev in 1991, warned Ukrainians against the suicidal nationalism of declaring independence from the Russian Federation. Aggressive nationalisms divide the world, warns Macron. Well, yes, they do, which is why we have now 194 members of the UN rather than the original 50. Is this a problem? Together, said Macron, we will build a new, strong multilateralism that defends pluralism and democracy in the face of ill winds. Macron belongs to a political class that sees open borders and free trade thickening and tightening the ties of dependency, and eventually creating a one Europe, whose destiny his crowd will forever control. But if his idea of pluralism is multiracial, multi-ethnic, multicultural nations with a multilateral EU overlord, he is describing a future that tens of millions of Europeans believe means the death of the nations that give meaning to their lives. And they will not go gentle into that good night. In America, too, millions have come to recognize that there is a method to the seeming madness of open borders, name of the game, dispossessing the deplorables of the country they love. With open borders and mass migration of over 1 million people a year into the USA, almost all of them peoples of color from the third world countries who vote 70 to 90% Democratic, the left is foreclosing the future. The left is converting the greatest country of the West into what Teddy Roosevelt called a polyglot boarding house for the world. And in that boarding house, the left will have a lock on the presidency. With the collaboration of co-conspirators in the media, progressives throw a cloak of altruism over the cynical seizure of permanent power. For as the millions of immigrants here legally and illegally register, and the vote is extended to prison inmates, ex-cons, and 16-year-olds, the political complexion of America will come to resemble San Francisco. End goal: ensure that what happened in 2016, when the nation rose up and threw out a despised establishment, never happens again. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. My name is John Brooker, and you can reach me through commentary on this video or through my Gmail listed here. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you.